Good afternoon, dear students. In our previous class, we studied about the resultant force, what is resultant force or net force, and under what conditions resultant force can be changed or altered. Today, we are going to study about the effects of forces. Now, first point we can say a force acting on a body can change its state of rest or motion. For example, you might have seen when a football lies stationary on the ground and the football player or the soccer player, he hits the football, it starts moving. That means the football player has applied force with his leg, which caused the football to move, and it changed its stationary position. Similarly, you might have also seen in the game of cricket, a fielder, when he catches a moving cricket ball, the ball stops in his hand. Here also the fielder is using the force of his hands to stop the incoming cricket ball towards him. Second, we can say a force can change the direction of motion of a moving object. In the same game, that is cricket, if you observe, when the batsman changes the direction of motion of a moving ball by touching or striking the ball at an angle, so the ball moves in a different direction now after the batsman has hit the ball with his bat. So this also shows that the force which was applied by the batsman with the help of his bat caused the change in the direction of motion of the incoming ball towards him. Third, we can say a force can change the shape and size of the object. When an inflated balloon is held or pressed between two hands, it changes its shape and size. Similarly, when a spring is pulled at its both the ends, it becomes elongated or lengthened, and therefore its shape and size also changes. Third, we can say a force can stop a moving object. For example, if we are driving a bike or riding a bicycle, when we apply the brakes, immediately the bicycle or the bike stops. And here also we have used a force, which is the frictional force that is responsible for bringing the vehicle or the bike or the cycle to a halt. Now third, we can say a force can change the speed of a moving object. So when we talk about a force can change the speed of a moving object, how? Now the speed of a moving object can be increased by pushing it in the direction of its motion. So if an object is moving, it has motion, and if we push the object in the direction of its motion, that is, if we apply the force in the direction of its motion, then the speed of the object increases. Similarly, the speed of a moving object can be decreased by pushing or applying a force in a direction opposed to its motion. So these are the two conditions. Now we'll deal with a separate topic, that is pressure, that is more related to force and area. We all have understood the concept of force, and that will be very useful for us to deal with pressure. We know that effects of a force depends upon its magnitude and the area on which it acts. So combined effect of the force and the area on which it acts can be described by a quantity which is called pressure. So the formula of pressure is force upon area. As you can see here, the formula of pressure is force upon area. So we can say from this formula, pressure is the force acting per unit area. This is the simplest definition of pressure which we can write. Pressure is the force acting per unit area. Now from this relation, pressure is equal to force upon area, which means pressure is directly proportional to force and pressure is inversely proportional to the area of the contact. In our previous class, we had studied about electrostatic force and how it also varies directly and varies inversely. Similarly, here pressure is varying directly with the force and it is inversely proportional to area. Now what does it mean? For a larger area, the pressure exerted will be less. Similarly, for a smaller area, the pressure exerted will be more. From this formula you can see clearly area is inversely proportional to pressure. That means if the area of contact or the cross-sectional area increases, the pressure decreases, and if area of contact decreases, the pressure increases. Now the third condition or the criteria which we can see is that if the cross-sectional area or the area of contact is fixed, if the cross-sectional area or the area of contact is fixed, the pressure exerted increases with increase in the force. If the area is constant, if it is constant, then we can say the pressure will increase with the force, and vice versa. Or we can say if the force increases, the pressure will also increase. If the force decreases, the pressure will also decrease. Now there are some questions based on the concept of pressure, and these questions you can write it by yourself, and we can, if you have any problem, we can discuss it in our next class. Why a sharp knife is more effective in cutting fruits or vegetables than a blunt knife. Similarly, when we stand on a mattress, it sinks much deeper than when we lie down on it. Why? Third question is, why heavy trucks are fitted with 6 to 14 tires? Fourth is, why foundations of high-rise buildings are kept wide? And the fifth question is, why drawing pins or all pins have relatively much larger top and highly pointed and sharper end? So we can discuss the first question so that you can get a clue how to answer the remaining questions. They are related to it only. Why a sharp knife is more effective in cutting fruits or vegetables than a blunt knife? When we observe a sharp knife, we see its edges are very sharp and pointed. So when we use the sharp knife to cut the vegetables, the area of contact of the edges of the sharp knife is very less. And we had studied if the area of contact will be very less, the pressure exerted by the knife will be more, and it can easily pass through the fruits and or vegetables and cut it. Similarly, when we stand on the mattress, it sinks much deeper than when we lie down on it. Here also we have the same principle, but you have to answer it yourself, and if you have any problem, we can discuss it in the next class. Now we'll come to units of pressure. So what are the units of pressure? First, we can say pressure is equal to force upon area. That is equal to, the unit of force is Newton, and area is expressed in meter square. So Newton upon meter square, or we can write it Newton m to the power minus 2, which it is a relation which is based on the law of exponents. So Newton per meter square can also be written as Newton m to the power minus 2, and we read it Newton per meter square. Now Newton per meter square is equal to Pascal, and this unit of pressure has been derived after the name of the scientist Blaise Pascal, who discovered it. Now we can also say the unit of 1 atm is taken as the unit of pressure. Now the remaining portion will deal in the next class. Thank you.